Welcome back to another episode of So Glad We're Friends. I'm Maggie.
I'm Devin.
I'm Brittany.
And today we're going to be talking about online dating experiences. And you guys really showed up and showed out for this. You submitted so many good ones and long ones. So we're going to go through them and react and give our opinions. First, what's a brief history on everybody's online dating experiences? Mine is none.
I haven't had any bad dates, but I don't go on a bunch of online dates, you know? I've gone on a few, but they never are like bad, like crazy stories to tell.
I went on two very memorable bad dates.
Oh, do you want to share
Actually,
one?
maybe
Have we
three.
already talked about it.
Also, you met Joe.
But I also met Joe. I did a lot of
That's
online
kind of
dating.
huge.
I did a lot of online dating in Chicago but I have to caveat that it was pre-pandemic that I did online dating, which I think
it's
now
different?
what's the year? Is it 2024? I started online dating on the apps in 2016 and stopped when I met Joe, I think 2018. So
I think
two
that's
solid years.
prime
It was
online
prime
dating
awesome
time.
online dating time.
I have Maggie, I feel like your mic's not connected or something because you sound echoey. Like you sound like it's just your computer mic. Do you?
Oh my god,
do you notice?
Is. Yes.
Annoying.
Remember last time it kicked her off her mic every time.
Yeah.
But do you think it was the whole time? Because if it's the whole
I
time, it's
think
low-key
so.
better. Because then that means it didn't switch off.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for my mic being shitty. It was connected to not my microphone. We back.
Let's hope.
Anyways.
I don't know if it's because online dating has become a more normal thing that people just don't take it seriously. And I know a lot of people, when they're bored or when they just want validation or attention or whatever, they go on just to get matches.
Yeah.
Because then, someone matched with me, that boosted my dopamine. I'm not getting back on again, you know?
Yeah. Because I think that Victoria from Just Being Farley, I want to say she met her partner on Tinder, if I'm remembering
I think
correctly.
so.
And I know Tinder was very really big when online dating first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I started in 2016, I don't even think I downloaded Tinder. I only downloaded Hinge and Bumble.
It's because they started coming out with connotations of Tinder's more for just hooking up rather than dating. They started to each mean different things almost of what you're wanting, which is interesting. I wonder why, and I wonder how the dating apps feel about that.
Yeah.
If that's what they're going for, or if Tinder's fuck. Sorry guys, my microphone keeps fucking breaking, so I'm using my iPhone and hopefully that works. Sorry if it sounds bad this episode. Anyways, Britt, do you want to tell your bad story or do you just want to jump into everyone else's?
I'm really curious to hear other people's stories.
Yeah, and then maybe we can be it might trigger our own.
But I can just share, I'll just share mine throughout after. If there's one that's similar or something, or I'm oh my god, I have to share this component of it. But
okay.
I just want to, I think that it's so interesting to hear other people's dating stuff because especially if they're from more recently, it's probably even more relatable.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think it's gotten harder because maybe the novelty of apps has worn off. Yeah. Because when I first downloaded Hinge, I went on 2 dates. I mean, I dated 2 different people and went on several dates with them. Yeah. And it was an easy okay, we matched, he messaged me, we planned a time to meet up.
Yep.
It wasn't now. I know a lot of people relate to this, but you match with people and then nobody ever fucking says anything. And if they message you a few times, they don't actually invite you to go out.
Yep.
It's just they're playing a game and they're wasting. It just feels like a waste of time.
I also wonder how much there's people who have already been in relationships from dating apps and then they're going for another round, you know? That's probably weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Because then you're talking about your exes.
If they were pre-pandemic, success stories, and then now post-pandemic, and they're getting back on and they're what the fuck?
Yeah, that would be really weird.
One of my friends that from this weekend, she was saying like how a lot of stuff is behind like a paywall. Like obviously you could do stuff without it, but like if you want to kind of like progress or find better people, like a lot of it's behind a paywall, and that really fucking sucks.
Yeah, it like ruins it because
like there's some of them she said were like $50 a month.
What?
Can you imagine? I think Raya's like $50 a month or something, at least what she's paying for. And I was like, that's like not like chump change. It's not like, oh, I'm just
that's
crazy.
Insane.
That's like Netflix subscription. No, that's way more.
God damn, I would never pay
like
50 for
That's
Netflix.
like my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I know. I was
yeah,
like,
and I've also heard that like if you're a high quality person, then you're hidden behind the paywall.
Yes.
So a lot of people aren't seeing you to match with you.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
And like a fucking rose is like $4.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. That gives you like, it says like I like you more or something.
Like
what does a rose do?
Or something.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know. It's just crazy. I do think that people need to be a little bit more like wittier and like fun. Like they don't need to be like super witty and like try hard, but like there needs to be a hair more effort on like both people's parts. Cause like we were scrolling through one girl's phone on like Hinge and stuff, and the guy's like, cause she pays for like what you can see like who likes you on Hinge, and some of the like there's some people's messages that were just like boring and stupid, and then others were just like likes. I'm like, if you're gonna like somebody, I don't know if they paid to like her, but like just come up with something other than like, hey beautiful, like you're really cute, like whatever. Like just like come up with something a tiny bit more and you'll stand out.
Yeah, but also I feel like if you can't think of something, then you end up just not doing anything, you know, because you put too much pressure on like, what do I say?
Yeah.
And then you just end up not even sending the like or whatever the hell.
I feel like the best is just to reply to something that has to do with one of their pictures or prompts.
Yeah, exactly. But like, not be like, oh my god, your dog is so cute. Like that's so boring and unoriginal.
Yeah. I'd probably like that, honestly, though, if I was dating now. If they were like, your dog
At this day and age, because nobody even says anything, I would be thrilled with that answer.
Okay.
But it's not very a conversation starter unless they're like, then where'd you get that? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, do you have a dog? I like recently did this. Oh, cool. How old? What's your dog's name? Okay, this is my dog's name.
Like going back and forth interviewing your dog.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's probably how it is like for parents. Like, oh, you have kids too? How old are they? What's their names? What do they like? Jesus Christ.
Okay, should we start reading? I'm very excited to hear these submissions.
Me and Maggie thought we could go through a couple of like the story answers that are just short.
Yeah.
And then get into the longer ones.
Wait, before we start, this one girl sent me a screenshot of like she was texting this boy. They had never met. They just had like casual conversation over text before their date that they had planned. And he sent her a text. I can't even read it. You know how you can edit a text? Mm-hmm. So, like, he sent first a text and then edited it. So, he texts her and he's like, just hanging out with my doggo. That looks amazing. Just watching movies. And then he sends another one that he edited. And the original text says, until your pussy is so filled with cum, it's pouring down your thighs. And then he edited it and said, whoa, that's weird. She's like, what the fuck? So, she assumed that was for somebody else. But I'm like, that kind of just sounds like he was maybe being creepy.
Yeah.
And just wanted to send that to see. Yeah.
React. Ew.
It's like, what the fuck? That is so gross.
See, girls would never do that.
No.
That's the thing. Like, obviously, there are a lot of good men, but there are also a lot of fucking creepy ones.
And then that's immediately like, no. Like,
I also think sexting too early is kind of a flag. Like, you can do it like after you meet, I feel like, but I think like doing it like, I don't know, like
unless that's your only purpose with this person.
Yeah, unless that's your only purpose and that's all you want, then go for it. But I think if you like want to date,
Dude, I think that's such a number one thing. Like, I thought it was just like in high school or high school boys or whatever when I was in high school, and now I'm like, oh my God, like it just carries on. My
No, it
cousin
almost gets
Jaden,
like more intense and like more like it's quicker.
yeah, like my cousin Jaden said, like so many guys will just be like, you're so hot or you're so sexy, or like the compliments are always
Yeah.
more sexual, and then they try to like initiate sexting and things like that. And I'm always like, the right boy will literally not do that. Like, that's so gross and like
Yeah.
rude to immediately jump to that.
Yeah.
It's just aggressive.
But this is what girls do. Here's an example of a bad date that a guy went on. He had a girl invite him over to fix a mirror. He didn't fix the mirror. He got a tarot card reading and then went home.
Wait, what?
That's really funny.
Just making matches to come do work for you around the house, though.
That's so funny. It's like Thumbtack, but just through a dating app.
Yeah,
my
for
God.
free. That's a
funny.
good method.
Yeah, you should try that.
There are also people, like this girl said, went on one Hinge date and now he's my husband.
I gotta feel like that too. Somebody said like my husband's first date, he ended up marrying.
That's
Just-
so unfair. There's a lot of, but that should be, I feel like that gives you hope, but also I want to know how long ago this was. Because like I
Yeah.
said, it was so much easier before the pandemic. And now it just fucking sucks.
Did you do a Google form for the other ones?
Mm-hmm.
Not through our So Glad We're Friends email though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
It's just in our normal submissions.
Oh,
I just
okay.
made an extra question.
Okay.
This one guy said that one time a girl showed up drunk to both dates and did the worm during bowling.
Oh God. That is such an interesting thing of drinking. Of like, you want to, probably a lot of people want to have a drink to be a little loose and like have fun, but then like you don't want to get drunk.
Yeah. I could see myself doing that, honestly.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I could see myself doing that too.
Also, the thing about paying, it makes me think of Match.com, and I feel like that used to be a lot more like serious. Like if you're paying for online dating, then you're obviously taking it seriously. And my dad met his wife on Match.com.
Yeah.
My dad met his girlfriend on Match.com too. I always
think
looked
my
at it as like an
parents
older
used-
person thing.
Yeah. One of my good friends though dated someone I think from Match.com and he was like a sociopath.
Oh, fun.
So
Oh my God, this one's funny. This girl said, I stood for 2 hours because he took the one chair available.
What?
Did his mother not teach him chivalry?
Literally, even in what situation would you be in where there's just one chair?
Maybe at the bar or something.
That's so weird.
And then this other girl said, I once had a guy ask me what color crayon I would eat.
Oh, interesting question. That sounds like some shit I would ask.
what would you do if you were in
Tickle me pink.
Yeah, there's a bunch of just like, it sucks. This guy wants to know why he's not getting any matches. I just think people don't take it seriously anymore.
I'm curious about if he's not getting matches, if he's like if his profile is like really generic and not like specific enough to like his interests, hobbies, and like life. And then
Yeah.
also I'd be curious if he tries like more like witty or like interesting responses to people instead of like just liking them or being like asking really bland.
Not to be judgmental, but I would also love to see his pictures because just typically boys have
Yes.
not great photos.
Agreed.
And not because they're not cute. It's just like they don't know how to take photos well, or like their ex-girlfriend took them.
The two girls were saying that like oftentimes the pictures are from a wedding or
Literally.
what was the other thing she said?
Shit, sorry.
I forgot what the other one was,
Received
but I
hundreds
thought
of
the
death
wedding
threats.
one was funny, like where you know guys get their pictures from.
That is so true. Like they definitely do.
Yeah.
Did you have any screenshots or anything from the stories from our So Glad We're Friends Interest
Well,
account?
now I can't pull up
Instagram?
my Instagram.
I know.
I'm trying to do it on my computer, and they're like, not. I can't, like, click on the thing.
There aren't really anything. Men posting their credit scores. Someone said men post their credit scores. She's seen it multiple times.
Interesting. I wonder if boys see, like, a random TikTok that's like, let's put our credit scores, boys. And then they just, like,
Like, this
all
is really going to be a winner.
Ash said Mags got to talk about Ozzy finding me on the app.
Oh, yeah. My friend Ashley, who's getting married in 2 weeks, she wanted me to tell the story of how she went to a hockey game. He's, like, the trainer for the hockey team in Tucson. And she went to the hockey game and saw him and thought he was cute. And, like, they, like, kind of, like, looked at each other or whatever. But she didn't know who he was and he didn't know who she was. And then they found each other on the apps after that.
Wow,
and
that's-
he was
that's
like,
really
I recognized you from the game. And so it was
That's like
super
missed
cute.
connections. You know how people used to post like Craigslist ads?
Yeah, those were so cute. I loved reading
Or like
those.
in the newspaper back in the day, they'd like
Yeah.
I didn't know that was in the newspaper.
put
That's
There was
crazy.
a-
missed connections.
There was like a
section.
book based on that. I forgot which book it was, but it was really cute. I need
That's
to find
cute.
one.
Probably.
That sounds like a really cute book idea.
It is.
Oh, and also my friend Victoria wanted me to tell the story of she was like full on dating this man. And he was like, he was going to U of A to get his like master's, and he wasn't from Tucson at all. And like the rest of his family was in a different state. And she was like dating him. Like they were going on multiple days, kissing, everything. And then I forget like why she decided to do this. Probably just because like we're little sneaky bitches. But she was like looking up his name on Google and stuff and found his wedding website, and he was literally engaged to a girl who lived in a different state, and he like just like left her there and stuff. And she was like, holy shit, like they were supposed to get married like several months later. It was so crazy. And she
How
ended
does
up
she
like,
know that he wasn't still getting married?
no, he was still getting married.
Oh, okay.
She reached out to
Men
the girl
are so dumb.
and then
The-
like became friends with the girl.
honestly
And she broke
think-
up with him.
There's this
Oh,
one
that
girl.
reminds
I
me
don't
of
know if I saved.
a movie too.
I don't know if I saved the link, but this girl is like, I do background checks on everybody I go on dates with, and she like somehow is able to like dive into like their financial background too to make sure like they're like they don't have.
I mean,
$1
that's a
million
little
dollars
much,
in
but that's
debt and
crazy.
stuff. But I think the background check is so legit. Like, I think more people should do that. And the Google search, like, absolutely. Like, you don't need to be going on a date with like a horrible person.
That's true.
Yeah, I just read a book that was like about Ted Bundy, and it made me scared to date
Was it the one that's like from the perspective of like one of
bright
the
young
victims?
women. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, I think you told us about that.
You know the girl that he pretended to have a broken arm and picked her up at the beach to have her help him or whatever. That was the storyline of one of the girls. I mean, that was one of the perspectives, and she went with him to help him.
Dude, that
'Cause he's
sucks
so
because
charming and
honestly, like, I
attractive.
would fall for that shit. Like, even not a handsome person, like, just somebody that needed help doing something. If it's not like, I lost my dog. Even I would probably fall for the fucking lost dog thing. I'd be like,
I
sure, I'll
know.
help.
Do not ever, don't, like, she had to get in the car with him and go to his house.
Oh, yeah, I would not go.
So,
I would not
like,
get in someone's
that
car.
But that was also in the 70s, so it's way different then.
For sure.
So that scares me about dating now.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can pay attention. And the good thing is, like, now we all got, like, trackers on each other. You can
Yeah.
tell people exactly where you are. Like,
Yeah.
it does feel a lot better. I would keep a fucking, like, AirTag on me separate from my phone or something.
Oh, yeah, that's so smart.
That would be, stick it in your vagina.
I was literally going to say that because, like,
If
what
you
if they
do
got you
get
naked?
killed,
your
they
bra.
can find your body.
But what if they take off your clothes? That's really smart, actually. Put it up there.
Is it waterproof?
In case they throw your body in the river.
No, like just
For your
bodily
body
fluids.
I went to a way darker place.
That's actually pretty smart.
Should I read some of one of the submissions?
Yes.
Okay.
There are so many.
I'm excited for all of them. I met my fiance on the Coffee Meets Bagel app. I tried that one. It was not my
Yeah.
vibe. I didn't
don't
really
think
get
there's
it.
enough people using it, you know?
Yeah,
Like the
that
pool's
seems
not
to
big
be a
enough.
problem.
Yeah. Back in 2018, when we were both living in Queens, New York, I remember seeing that he lived only 0.3 miles away, which was cool and convenient. I had just graduated from college, broken up with my college boyfriend, and moved to Brooklyn, and I joined the app casually, not looking for anything super serious or long term, but more so as a way to get my confidence back in dating and to remind myself that there are other potential partners in the world. He was one of the first people I matched with, although he had been on the app for a while and had gone on a few other dates before me. We hung out every other week or so for about 5 months before we made the relationship official. That's interesting. I recall
Why is that
not
interesting?
having,
Like long time?
yeah, but I guess if it's like every other week, that is kind of like not that
Yeah,
long.
it's kind of a slow.
Yeah,
That's what I would
burn.
like to do.
slow burn.
But then you probably don't like them that much if you're not
I
wanting
was
to
just
hang out
thinking
with
that
them all the
too. Like,
time.
yeah, that's a sign. If I don't want to see you again tomorrow, then you're probably not the one for me.
Yeah.
That's how my mom is.
Personally.
My mom's like, I have other things going on. I can only see you like once a week. I was like, Mom, you can't be like dating someone and only see them once a week, like or once.
When
every
you're
week.
older,
That's
I
my
think
dad,
you
too.
can.
Yeah, but like everyone my mom's dated is like they want to see her more, and she's like, I have things to do. I have people to see. I have plans. And they're like, okay.
She sounds like my mom.
My dad's the
I
same.
recall not having an actual meal with him until like January, just because he had a few experiences where he could tell the women were likely just going out with him for a free meal. Anyways, it
That's
was really-
interesting.
I
feel
know,
like
that's
boys
really
say
funny.
that a lot. Which I do think the boy should always pay on the first date, but then that is interesting coming from a boy's perspective when you're trying to actively date and like going on multiple first dates, and then you just have to like
Yeah,
really
you
increase
become
your budget
broke
for
pretty
dating.
fucking quickly.
Yeah, there are some women that just want that like attention and a free meal.
Yeah.
I could never.
Do you
just
think
because
that's
I'm
more
so
of a
scared.
joke though? Like I feel
No,
like
there are people like that.
No.
that's kind of crazy.
Anyway, it was nice because both of us wanted to take things really slow, but things really worked out. Now we live together and we're getting married in April 2025. Yay!
Congratulations.
So
That's
exciting.
cute.
I'm not sure if Coffee Meets Bagel is still up and running, but I like the fact that you only got to scroll through a few people each day rather than being pulled in.
that's
endless
nice.
swiping.
Oh, I didn't know
I guess
that about
we should
it.
look at like the differences because that is actually really nice. Maybe back in like 2018, it wasn't as nice because like it was
Maybe
so
that's
many-
just all the people on it. It's just like you looked through everyone today. Sorry.
yeah.
I literally need a dating app that is like, here are the 5 people we picked for you today. Take a look at them, and that's it. Because it
That's what I
gets
think,
so
like, the paid version of,
overwhelming.
like hinges now.
Oh, is it? Maybe I should just pay for Hinge. I don't know.
That's way less overwhelming, and like the task, like the dauntingness of wanting to go on the app and go through it would feel way less overwhelming if you just know like, okay, there's just 5 I need to look at today.
Yeah, and then they could give you like a nice big green check mark at the end, and you feel like you,
You did
got
it.
your stuff done. You know, that sense of accomplishment.
You need like
Yeah.
a reward.
Yeah,
That's like
we should start a dating app,
Joe's
or we
like
should bring this to Bumble because they need help.
Need help. That's great. Oh, congratulations. That's so exciting. I love like when people are on the same page. Like you both wanted to go slower and so
yeah,
and
that
so
is really
really
nice. Because I feel like for other people that could be like a total like, okay, bye. I'm never
Mm-hmm.
dating you again. But
Or like they think that you're not interested, so they
Yeah.
just don't.
I like that. Do you want to read one, Maggie?
Yeah, should we take turns
Sure.
just for some variation?
I'm like
I kinda
spacing these
wanna-
out because I for some reason like have a lot of trouble reading these in like blocks. So
No, I feel you.
too.
I want to skip one and then I'm going to read the one from a boy. Well, I think it's a boy if it's a straight relationship. Not sure. Had a girl match with me and she was fairly enamored quite quickly, almost a little scarily so. But as I am a dude, he's a dude, who never dated seriously before, not for lack of trying, just always rejected. We met once initially and it went great. I did like her and I wanted to get to know her. She seemed to reciprocate those feelings too. But after she wanted to plan our next date, I was sure of her feelings. We spent a long time talking about it via messaging and over the phone once on an hour-plus phone call. I have no idea what plan she had. The fateful Saturday rolls around, and I ask her what the plan is, and she says that she's going to spend the whole day with her friends celebrating a birthday, and they had hired a yacht to take them out to the sea for a sunset cruise. She hyped up all these plans and feelings and dropped that bombshell on me on the very same day. Needless to say, it makes me feel very angry and awful. It may have only been a second date, but the amount she led me on and hyped it up was incredible. She barely spoke to me after that day with a little half-assed apology. After her not replying to me for like 2 weeks, I made the decision to cut her out of my life. Funnily enough, she still follows me on Instagram and likes my posts and stories from time to time, so I don't know. I can't trust her again, though. Just wanted to vent and get that all out. Definitely an online dating fail. That's interesting.
I feel like that's something that you shouldn't do, like, because everyone's like time is so precious and like,
Yeah.
you know, it's theirs. Like, he could have planned a perfect day alone, or he could have planned time with like friends. Like, if you don't want to go on the date, it's not a big deal. Just tell them like, hey, this other thing came up whenever her yacht thing was planned, and let him know, and he can go and live his best life doing something else.
Yeah, it seems like a miscommunication. Because,
Yeah,
like, were
it
they
seems
planning
like-
to hang out for her birthday?
It seems like she probably thought that this would be a good date, but also she didn't just want to spend time with him. She wanted to have the best of both worlds, like, come and I can also hang out with my friends, and like worked it up like, oh, he'll have fun because there's a yacht. It's a, you know.
Was she inviting him? That's
No,
what I
I
don't
don't think
understand.
so.
I don't
That's what
think
I
she
was,
was
like,
inviting
getting.
him.
That like she made other plans with other people.
Oh, he didn't come to the yacht party?
It doesn't
I
sound
don't
like
think
it.
so. It sounded like she then, like, they made the plan, and then on that same day, she was like, JK, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
That's weird, though. I would maybe, like, next time, because it seemed like you didn't know what the plan was ahead of time, so I would maybe, like, get more concrete plans, but I'm sure people cancel anyways. It sucks, like, I'm, like, getting your hopes up every single time, or, like, when you do have any type of feelings, and then, like, it's like, oh, maybe this time it's gonna work out, like, maybe this time we'll date, and then, like, having that fall through so many times would suck.
I feel that. Especially if you like think it went really well,
Yeah.
and then you're like,
Roles
oh.
are complicated. Okay. So basically, my current boyfriends, we've been dating for nearly 2 years, met on Tinder. I was fresh out of a 5-year relationship. I was not looking for any kind of relationship. I was not looking for any kind of situationship. Honestly, I was just looking for a one-night stand. But then I met this guy, and he was not at all like anyone I've ever met. The first time I met him, he told me his whole background about how he struggled with the addiction, a lot of partying and drugs. For context, I come from a family of police officers, so he's naming a bunch of drugs I've never heard of before. But him and I got along so well and had great chemistry, and he thinks I'm so funny, and I think he's the funniest person, and he's my best friend. In the beginning of us, I had a lot of my friends that were not okay with me dating him because of his past experiences. He went to a university and went wild, whereas I'm the type of person who goes to bed at 8 p.m. and spends her evenings with her cat. Low-key Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy vibes. I was quite understanding of my friends' opinions and thoughts about my relationship because on paper, him and I really made no sense. I've come to realize by hearing my story about my relationship and by meeting him and getting to see us interact that it's a really good fit. Oh, they've come to realize that, seeing them, that it's a good fit. Side note, last week, he asked me to send him ideas for engagement rings. Anyway, this turned into a huge tangent, all to say I was looking for a one-night stand and I found the boy I want to marry.
I love that.
Cute. Fresh out the slammer vibes.
I honestly feel like it's so mature for people, like if they've had a past or something, like maybe you don't necessarily have to bring it up on the first date, but I think it is really mature and like a good idea to bring up if you've like had addiction issues or like, you know, some trauma in your past, and
For
like
sure.
letting
Yeah.
that person know like what they're getting into up front in case it like comes up again, and then they can make that decision if they want to move forward with you or not.
Yeah, because that'll be a constant
Yeah.
struggle for the addict their whole life. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if he's sober now. It kind of sounds like it.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, but just like the friends judged him so quickly initially, I think it's like the same thing. Like, she just didn't judge him. She was like good with it. But like, obviously, a lot of other people passed judgment on it. So,
Yeah.
okay, one second. Let me just finish this. I'm like spacing these out so we don't read like at a third grade level.
Honestly, I think I was reading better in third grade than I read currently.
Same. Yeah, did you guys used to have to like read out loud quite a bit?
Yeah, I hated it.
Did you have to do that test ever where you like went to the teacher's desk
Yes.
and like had to read something? Like it was like a more in private thing, like a test.
Ours was like not that private though. Like it was still in the same room. Okay, small town Canada, parentheses plus size girl, Tinder. 85% of people match and never say anything or don't reply the odd time I reach out. 10% of the people open with something sexually offensive, cheap pickup line that's worth a laugh but never talk. 4% talk for 1 to 14 days. And sometimes you really connect but never meet. 3 times I've been ghosted after making plans, stood up. Oh my God. I think the standing up thing, like, come on.
That's
Yeah.
actually
Be better.
wild. Like to just
Be
stand
fucking
somebody up.
better. And 0.9% actually decent guys that it may go somewhere with. 0.1% is the one. That's so sad.
That's
So
why
my main
it's
story.
so overwhelming. That's why it's like overwhelming to even get on.
Yeah.
I want to know the boys who send those sexually whatever messages first, like how often does that work for them where they're like, yeah, I'm going to do this again? Because it has to be working sometimes or else why would they do that?
They could get off on it, maybe.
Ew.
So my main story is that I started talking to this guy less than 2 months after being cheated on my boyfriend of 8 years. His profile says he's in an open marriage and just being out of a relationship. That's perfect. I can have fun with someone and not worry about feelings. I was in a casual place. LOL. But then we really connect. We start going out and he's literally my dream man. So fast forward 10 months and we're in love. And he's
shit.
leaving his wife, but not for me. The issues are from before me. So I might get him to myself, ? But like he's moving out on his own first. But what if me, the girl that's been ghosted and stood up and called fat and cheated on and lied to, is actually the girl that gets the guy? If so, he's my 0.1%. He's literally everything I've ever manifested for myself. But yeah, kind of wild, LOL. Also, I've been split up from the 8-year ex for 12 months and I've moved back into my parents and then move out into my own place for the first time. It's been a year, LOL. That's a roller coaster.
Yeah, holy shit, I didn't see that coming.
No. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a fun thing.
To be with somebody for 10 months while they're in a marriage, I like don't understand how that works. Like, because you probably can't go to his house, right? Like, you're not having sleepovers at his house, and she lives with his parents. She lives with her parents.
Yeah. But it sounds like they're both like moving in a really positive direction. Like she just moved out on her own and then he's like separating and moving into his own place.
Yeah, but he was cheating on his wife.
No.
It was an open marriage.
Oh, okay.
But I would double check that.
No, that's so fair.
I would maybe talk to the
Also-
wife and confirm that was an open marriage.
If he wasn't an open marriage, he's gonna want to stay open, right? Like
That's what I was thinking.
if you want him all to yourself, I just don't want you to get a broken heart. You know?
I know. It's like typically guys like that redo the same thing again.
Cycle.
That's fucking crazy.
But good luck. I really hope that he is the 0.1% and that
Yeah.
he is everything he manifested. But
Yes.
hopefully you're not manifesting a cheater.
No.
Okay.
Whose turn is it? Mine or Maggie's?
Mine.
Next.
Okay.
When I first moved to AZ, I was fresh out on my own and serial dating. I met this one guy, and he was great. He does yoga, engineer, graduated from Purdue, and has his own apartment and car, cooked and attractive. Wasn't there a guy who submitted to the Devon Does Dating that literally was all of those things?
I don't know.
Probably a different guy, I'm sure, but I remember an engineer that graduated from Purdue and cooked and everything. A month of dating exclusively, and I asked what we were. He went silent for about a week. Then he told me, I'm not sure if I'm dating you because I like you or I want a green card. I was floored, so comically now looking back. Oh my god.
What the fuck?
I'm not sure if I'm dating you because that is actually horrible. Also, something I learned from Nick Viall from his podcast is never ask, like, what are we? Like, how do you feel about this? What are we? Instead, say what you want and then allow them to reply. Like, be like, okay, are we? I would really like to be exclusively dating and be boyfriend and girlfriend. Are you on the same page as that or no?
Yeah.
And I think it's because the girl wants the boy to, like, ask, like, will you be my girlfriend or something? But you can say that that's what you want more so. Otherwise, you sound like the
Passive.
power is not in your hands at all.
Yeah.
I do like that. I think I heard him say that on someone else's podcast too.
He says it a lot.
Yeah. No, it's fair. Because it's just you taking the reins back. But I think a lot of girls are like, oh, what? But, like, I can't do that.
Yeah, and I never understand the thing of, like, if you're dating exclusively, what the fuck is the difference between being boyfriend and girlfriend and dating exclusively?
Yeah, I don't think.
But, like,
Just
why
a little
is
bit
that?
more commitment, I guess, for guys.
I actually do
Yeah.
understand that, though, because I want to know, like, what being, it's like almost like a trial run for being boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then,
And, like, you're not introducing your family and shit. It's more like,
yeah, you just know that, like, you're taking it a little more seriously.
yeah.
And, like, spending all of your time, like, all of your focus on this one person. And then if you guys are good with that, then you can, like, move into the next phase.
Did you and Joe do that?
Yeah, more or less.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't remember exact timelines. I think so, though. I think we had, like, a discussion because, like, I was half dating someone else, like, when we met. Mm-hmm. But it, like, really wasn't serious. And so then, like, I think there was a weekend where we both kind of, like, were on the same page. Like, okay, we're not talking or dating anyone else. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah.
I think me and Cameron said I love you before we were, like, boyfriend and girlfriend.
Joe made me, so he had, like, it was, like, a thing. His parents lived in the suburbs, and they have a dog. I really wanted to see, like, a dog. But but I wouldn't say I liked him. I, like, wasn't saying I like you back yet. And so he's like, well, I'm not, like, letting you meet my parents before you, like, tell me you like me. And I was like, fine, I like you. I did actually like him. I was, like,
You're
just
like,
being, like,
whispering.
much more coy about, like, being upfront about my feelings. Because in the past, I got fucked over for it. So I was like, okay, this time
Yeah, for sure.
I'll, like, play it much more cool.
Yeah.
But in order to meet the dog, I had to say I liked him. So
Damn. A sacrifice.
all for the dogs.
Okay. After I graduated college, I moved home for a little bit and played around on Tinder some. I ended up swiping right and matching with a guy who graduated from my college a year before me and lived 40 minutes north of me. Everything was super casual. We texted for 2 weeks and flirted, then planned a date on a Saturday night at 8 p.m. at a restaurant. When I woke up on Saturday morning, we texted back and forth consistently until about 2 p.m., excited for the date and everything. Then he started taking a while to text back, but I thought this was completely normal because we were about to meet for the first time in a few hours anyways. When I let him know I was heading to the restaurant, I didn't get any text back, and I had a gut feeling I was being played. So I turned around and went home to save myself the embarrassment from being stood up at the restaurant. When I get home, I get on Snapchat and see that he posted a story. It was a picture of his meal at the restaurant with a girl's fingernails in the background. He went on a date with someone else. I literally swiped up on his story and went, oh. He messaged back and had the audacity to tell me that I needed to chill out and leave him alone. Needless to say, he was blocked immediately. Ha ha ha, I hate Tinder.
That's so fucked up.
What? How the fuck does that?
What?
He decided. Was he just texting two people from Tinder at the same time, and then just
planning the
to,
same restaurant?
Yeah, and then decided at the end which girl he was gonna actually.
That's bold too, to assume that the first girl wouldn't go.
I know. Well,
He's
imagine
replying to her. So
she shows up though, and they're both at the restaurant there to see him.
Should have.
She should have.
I hear from my friends a lot that happens where you plan a date and then like the same day they just like stop replying or something. It's like, why did you even plan that? And then also you should definitely be like, sorry, I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Like, what? That is standing somebody up still, even if they're not going to the date. Like, you're planning on going. You might already get ready and everything and change your plans because of it.
Yeah.
People are fucking nuts.
Men have the audacity.
I, a 25-year-old female, met a guy, 29-year-old male, on Tinder a few years ago. He was a hipster and was super artsy. I had never dated anyone like him. I usually date athletic, jock type of guys. Our first date, we met at a restaurant, normal, slightly awkward date, but he was pretty cool, easy to get to know, seemed like a regular guy. The only thing I thought was kind of odd was he still lived with his parents. Okay, he's 29. But plenty of young adults still live with parents to save up to move out, especially in today's economy. 3 weeks of going out every so often, he ghosted me on a random Wednesday. I texted him and he didn't respond. His Tinder was deactivated along with his Instagram. Okay, this just reminded me of the most wild fucking story. Okay, I'll get back to that. I figured he found another girl and was now committed in a relationship, but he never gave me any clue that he was seeing someone else. A week later, I get a call from a number I do not know in the middle of the night on a Sunday, and I sent it to voicemail. It is him. He was whispering on the recording and told me it was him. He said his phone was not working. He's using his dad's phone and to come to his house tomorrow at noon because he wanted to talk to me.
What?
I was really curious as to what was going on, so I went the next day. I get there and he apologized profusely and told me that he wants to tell me what happened over lunch. He also said he had an errand to run, so he took me to eat downtown. He tells me he got into some legal trouble and is getting put on house arrest. He wouldn't tell me what it was, but told me he wanted to come with me to get his ankle monitor. At this point, I'm freaked out and asked him to take me home. He told me he didn't do anything aggressive. He said he didn't hurt anyone, and after we picked up his ankle monitor, he would tell me at his house and would allow me to decide if I still wanted to go out with him or not. I'm fuming and freaked out. I honestly am afraid I'm going to be kidnapped or worse.
Yeah.
I texted my sister and friend to let them know exactly what the situation I was in just in case something bad happened to me. He gets his ankle monitor put on and drives me back to my car at his house. This is fucking wild.
It's giving Ted Bundy.
I know. We sat out on the driveway and he told me he has a registered pedophile and is not allowed to leave his house other than for work. He cannot have social media and cannot have a cell phone. He messaged a 16-year-old girl on Snapchat and she insisted she was 20 years old. They exchanged nude photos. He said nothing happened between them, but he said the cops searched his house a couple weeks ago and didn't want it to affect our relationship. He is to be on house arrest for the next year, and if he's doing well, then he only has 9 months. Immediately told him I didn't want any contact from him and left. He was very rude and verbally insulted me as I was getting into my car to head home. I cried and drove about 2 miles away before I pulled my car over and decided to look him up. He lied, of course. He met up with the girl, told her he was 19, which is unbelievable, and he sexually assaulted the girl while I was going on dates with him. The girl told her father that this happened and gave the police his info, and they found out that he was actually much older. I was traumatized, and I've never dated someone online again.
Oh my God.
This is my fear, exactly. We were just talking about this. Good thing he didn't kill you.
Or just sexually assault you.
Like, yo, just come with me. I got a quick errand to run. Like,
oh my God. I would be like, immediately tell me what happened.
I know. He's like, I'll tell you when we get home. The
But
fuck?
he lied anyways.
No, thank you.
I'm sure he didn't say,
Holy
I'm a
shit.
pedophile. There's no way.
Oh my god.
I'm glad
He
she's
told the girl
okay.
that he was 19 when he's 29. Holy shit.
10 years apart. That is insane.
And also, you're always on like the sex offender registration after that, right? Like your whole life.
Yes. He got to go to his neighbors. Tell everyone.
Oh my god.
I am so sorry that happened to you. That is...
Yeah.
no wonder you've never dated online again. That is so crazy. Holy shit.
That sucks. I'm really glad that you went to his house though, so that we could have the story.
I know. I bet like maybe you are happy
It's a good
about
story to
that,
tell,
that you
right?
went. That is so insane. Ew, boys are so gross. He was 29 and he's like, yo, let me just Snapchat the 16-year-old. Where the fuck did you find a 16-year-old?
For
Were
real.
you snooping the high schools? How do you
Ew.
find a 16-year-old? That's crazy. Ew. Okay, next one. Tinder nightmare. Met a guy on Tinder during COVID. I'm from Canada and he's from the US. Only about 2 hours from each other, but still across the border line, so we couldn't see each other due to COVID closures at the border. We got to know each other for about a year and a half, talking 24/7 and Snapchatting, sending videos back and forth, etc. Eventually, after him telling me for months that he wanted to meet in person, I decided to fly across the US to see him, because for some reason you could fly across borders during COVID, but you couldn't drive. Oh, that's weird. It just would have been a 2-hour drive, but she's like flying across the country. So in order to not have to do 8 to 10 stopovers around the US before making it to him, I literally had to book a private charter plane, which cost me $2,000. What the fuck? And departed from an island 2 hours away from where I lived. When the day to go came, I had all of my COVID tests done, took a ferry to get to the island, had a month booked off of work, and flew away on my private plane. Only a 25-minute flight, to go meet him and visit for what was supposed to be a 2-week stay. He picked me up at the airport, drove us back to his town about 30 minutes away. We spent the afternoon driving around with him, showing me different places, and basically just giving me a tour of his hometown. I thought he wasn't even going to show up, so this is going better.
So far. Yes.
We went back to his place. He made me food. The evening went great. We got into bed, and since at this point we'd been waiting to see each other in person for well over a year, I'm sure you can guess where things went from there. I woke up the next day. We spent the afternoon doing some yard work.
Just being
funny.
a
I just gotta get
domestic.
some yard work done. And I was enjoying just getting to know him in person no matter what we were doing. Somewhere during that evening, he got real distant. No more talking, no more physical contact. He then actually just left me at his house for hours while his Snapchat location showed me he was out at the bar. For the next 2 days, he did the same. Left me at his house stranded all day. No means of transportation, no food, and a guy I technically just met's house and crying to my mom via FaceTime.
Oh
I had
my
no
God.
idea what was going on with the sudden switch in his attitude and sudden silence, because during the time he went full silent mode and wouldn't say 2 words to me anymore. So on the 4th morning, I literally made him tell me if he wanted me to go home or what the fuck was going on. All he said was, I think I bit off more than I could chew. And I replied with telling him to drive me back to the border so I could cross to go back home. I had enough, lol. The next day, he drives me back to the town where the international border is, and suddenly the whole drive there, he becomes talkative and seemingly like a great guy again. The fuck? No more silent treatment. We make the 2-hour drive back. He gets me McDonald's, waits while I book a motel room, and then helps me carry my bags in the greasiest motel ever. Only one that is available in this shitty little town where I would be spending the next few days waiting on a COVID test results to be able to cross back into Canada. He gives me a hug and walks away, leaving me there without a word of apology or explanation. I spent 3 days in the greasy motel crying and just wanting to get home, completely confused by the experience. Eventually, I get back home and have to spend 2 weeks in quarantine due to COVID rules. This is so crazy. My mental health was in the absolute gutter due to rejection and lack of explanation on what happened. He messaged me a few times over the time I was in quarantine, and then we stopped talking altogether. He deleted me off of Snapchat a few months later. I cried about this scenario for over a year, off and on, because it truly wrecked my self-confidence and led me to such disappointment. Fast forward to almost exactly a year later, I get a blank has added you on Snapchat notification at 2 a.m. one night. Of course, all the feelings come back. I spiral for a few days, but ultimately, he just doesn't say anything even after adding me back. At least not until a few months later. He literally starts the combo back up saying, "How are things up there in Canada?"
Oh my god.
Oh my god. And I'm just shook. LOL. This continues every so often where I hear from him just a quick "how you doing" type of chat, and then he disappears for weeks at a time. I'm at the point just entertaining these conversations out of curiosity to see if he ever acknowledges what happens, apologizes, or give me any explanation for what happened when I visited him. Long story short, he never does. It's been 3 years. He messages me a few times per month. The fuck? Just to chit chat and still no explanation or even so much as a mention that I was ever there at his place. I'm still equally as confused as the day I left his place 3 years ago. I don't care much about the situation anymore emotionally. It hurt me bad, but I've dealt with it. But I keep entertaining the little combos out of curiosity to just hear why. It's just such a wild situation that I feel like I need to know, like the ending to a wild Reddit story or a good book. I just can't help but wait to hear the ending explanation for the plot twist, though I'll probably never get it. It was basically the longest lead up to a one-night stand ever. Pure confusion, a pandemic dating nightmare, and still an absolute mystery as to what went wrong in his head during the whole thing, lol. But I'll never use Tinder again, and now I'm a hard advocate against meeting people online or traveling to meet someone anywhere.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Holy shit.
I would be so tempted to just be like, now that it's been so much time, to be like, what happened back then? But also, like, thinking about, like, everyone's mindset in COVID, like, it was, like, dark times, you know what I mean? Like, and then for this to happen, like, that would really
I'm sorry,
something.
I'd be like, pay me my $2,000 back for this private plane that I just chartered.
Yeah,
What the
that I
fuck?
paid so that you could get in my pants.
That's what it seems like, obviously, because that's what always happens. You sleep together, and then the next day, it's not
The
okay.
most expensive sex of her life.
And
Insane.
also, he was going to the bar every day during COVID. The fuck?
That is so weird. I feel so sorry for you. And also, girlies, you need to stick up for yourself in these situations. Like, if he's gonna go to the bar, be like, what the fuck? Why are you going to the bar? DoorDash me food. Like, what are you... What are you thinking? I'm gonna go home right now if you're gonna go to the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be staying with you for 2 weeks that we agreed on, and now what the fuck?
It's hard because I feel like girls a lot of the time will travel to meet someone because they're like, I don't want a random stranger coming to my house.
Fair.
But I think it's usually better to make the guy come and like have him get a hotel or something, because I just hear so many stories of like girls going to travel and then it doesn't even, like, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's really rough out there. You two are very lucky. I hope you realize how lucky you are.
I know. I was literally crying last night thinking that. It's crazy. Read the funny one.
Guy showed up and was missing his arm.
What the fuck? That's so crazy. My friend Madison, she dated a boy that had no legs. Because he was in like a train accident. He got ran over by a train. It was super sad.
What?
It was crazy. Like, he was drunk and like passed out on train tracks. And luckily there was like first responders that lived in the house like right behind.
That's insane.
And like ended up saving his life basically.
Holy shit.
But they ended up they dated for like a few years, and overall it was like a fine relationship or whatever. He's a fine guy. But for my bachelorette party, we played like the Jeopardy game, and like one of the sections was dating, and like she just put on like who dated a boy with no legs for like everyone to guess, and I was dying laughing.
Oh my God. That's funny.
We should probably just do a couple more.
I know.
We
I'm
only
like
have a
trying
couple
to.
We only have like 2 or 3.
There's a couple more long ones.
Let's just do the 2 last long ones.
I feel like the one with dialogue looks like it'd be good, but I don't know if it's actually good.
The what one?
Like where she wrote out like full dialogue. It looks like maybe they're a good writer.
I'll read that. I have a story. I'm 29, living in Austin, Texas, and working close to downtown. Been on all the apps and recently turned on Hinge. One evening while swiping through profiles, I matched with someone named Mike. His profile seemed normal enough. He was into hiking, craft beer, and had a quirky sense of humor. Sounds like all the guys that girls are looking for, you know? Mm-hmm. After a few messages, he suggested we meet up for a drink at a cozy bar downtown. When I arrived, I spotted Mike immediately. He was sitting at a table with a peculiar grin on his face. And an unusual item next to him. A vintage Nutcracker. I approached, and before I could say hello, he handed me a package. I got you something, he said, eyes gleaming with excitement. Open it. Confused but intrigued, I unwrapped the gift to reveal a Nutcracker costume.
No.
I laughed, thinking it was a joke. You want me to wear this? I asked, holding up the costume. Yes, it'll be fun, Mike insisted. I have a thing for nutcrackers. They fascinate me. Plus, I brought some nuts we can crack together. It'll be a blast.
This is unreal.
Feeling a mix of curiosity and bemusement, I decided to play along. I slipped into the costume in the bar's restroom and returned to our table. Mike's eyes lit up with delight. You look fantastic, he exclaimed. Now let's crack some nuts. What the fuck? This guy sounds like so quirky and weird. He pulled out a bag of assorted nuts and started handing them to me eagerly, waiting for me to crack them open with the nutcracker mechanism on the costume. As I cracked each nut, he looked more and more thrilled, clapping his hands and occasionally munching on the nuts. So do you want some nuts? He asked repeatedly, each time with increasing enthusiasm. Do you like cracking nuts? Isn't it satisfying? It was bizarre, but in an odd way, I found myself getting into the spirit of the evening. Mike's excitement was infectious, and soon I was cracking nuts with surprising vigor. Throughout the night, Mike kept bringing up his fascination with nutcrackers. He told me about this extensive collection at home, hundreds of nutcrackers from all over the world, each with its own story. He even had a special room dedicated to them. This reminds me of that TikTok audio that's like, I like that autistic man.
Yeah.
By the time the bar was closing, I had cracked more nuts than I could count, and Mike had shared more about nutcrackers than I ever thought possible. As strange as the night had been, it was also oddly fun. Mike walked me to my car and with a hopeful smile asked, would you be up for another nutcracking adventure sometime? I hesitated for a moment and then nodded. Sure, why not? Maybe next time I can bring my own nutcracker. Mike beamed. I'd love that. Until then, keep cracking those nuts. As I drove home, still in the nutcracker costume, I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. It was the strangest date I had ever been on, but sometimes a little weirdness is exactly what you need to spice up life.
Oh my God.
That is, like, I was waiting for this story to turn, like, dirty or something, but it was just, like, wholesome and weird and almost cute.
Yeah, maybe you're perfect for each other if you were so amused by that, because I would be like, I'm not getting in that costume. I want to know what happened. Like, did you go on another date?
He needs to dress up as a nutcracker the next time.
I know. Also, I'm imagining, like, the costume, because it said that there was a nut cracking mechanism on the costume, but I was imagining, like, a soft costume. So, like, it's just funny that the costume also had, like, a thing that actually
an actual nutcracker.
What the hell?
What a story. See, that was, like, a crazy date, but it was also, like, an innocent date, which is fun.
That's innocent, but I would have been scared that something was
I would have been
happen.
like, I don't know how to, like, act. Like, do I run with this, or am I, like, being like, no, I'm gonna leave, bye?
Well, I guess, like, she was in person with him and saw his vibe, right? So she felt like he was innocent, you know, not that he was trying to be creepy or something.
And I wonder, like, did you talk about other things? Or, like, did you talk before this date about other things?
Yeah.
Did you just make up this story to give us a good story? Because you're a great writer.
This is an interesting one. I think. Oh my God. Okay. 38 male, newly single after a 10-year relationship, divorced.
Oh, God.
Dating in Dallas, Texas is terrible. I'm done after 3 back-to-back bad dates. I was talking to someone for a few days, decided to meet up on Friday for late happy hour, early dinner. Magically, her car was in the shop day of, so she asked if I wouldn't mind picking her up. First red flag. This is interesting hearing it from a male's perspective.
Yeah, I like
red
the
flag.
boy one.
But not a big deal. Her place was just past the restaurant and we'd be stuck together if the vibes were off. Everything seemed normal. Met her roommate, also normal. Car ride, she told me her car had been in the shop for a month. Okay. A bit weird, but mostly normal car ride. We get there and park. She hesitated a bit, digging in her purse, so I figured I would walk around and open her door while she was putting on lipstick or touching up her makeup or whatever.
That is a good tactic to low-key stay in the car for like a second, like to get them to open the door.
Yeah.
Like, just don't open the door immediately.
No, when I opened her car, she had a clear pipe in one hand and a lighter in the other. Can't even imagine the look on my own face, but her reaction to my face was enough. She said, "Oh, I thought you were cool." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't want the smell of methamphetamine
Crack?
in my car."
Meth?
Did you guys not, the clear pipe, meth?
I've never
know.
smoked meth.
I don't know. I just know it from TV shows. For those of you that don't know, cheap meth smells like cat piss. While I don't judge, I also don't partake. My brain is just all kinds of ruined.
I kind of judge meth users.
I
I
would
think
judge
that's
The first date,
going on a date.
We walk inside and get seated, immediately order drinks, and I excuse myself to the bathroom. Bro, like, what? Do I actually continue this date knowing I'm not going to follow up with a second date? I go back to the table and she apologizes again and then says, "I thought you were cool because of my username." Her username? Maybe I should have mentioned I'm a severe ADHD dyslexic, so breezing over words is the norm, as long as I get the gist. Turns out her username was a variation of X's and O's, which with hyphens and asterisks at the beginning, and end with meth queen in the center.
what the fuck? Holy shit.
It's just like XOXO meth queen.
That, who the fuck would publicize that you're a meth queen? Are you
Instagram,
kidding?
we got an account to report.
What?
Things
That
were
is
just awkward by
insane.
this time. She called a friend to meet us at the bar and we politely went our separate ways.
That is so funny, and I love how casual she is about it. It's like,
I thought you knew because my username was meth queen that I would be
That would-
smoking meth on this date.
that would even be weird if it was like weed, like if she was just smoking weed, or like even like taking a shot in the car before. All things would be weird, but like the fact that it's fucking meth. That is crazy.
I just searched meth queen on Instagram.
Wait, this
find
is
it.
really fucking good. This one too. 1 second. Let me just space it out because I have to read it. It's so funny.
Here, let me read
Look
this
at
short
this girl.
one. Is that her?
I don't know. but
Meth
she's-
queen. Sheila. Was it Sheila? Let us know.
There's X's and O's in it.
My husband and I met on Hinge. We both swiped right or whatever and started talking, but he wasn't giving me the kind of energy I wanted. He wasn't making me feel wanted, so I moved on. Pretty sure he was further along with someone else on the app when we matched. About 3 to 4 months of still swiping, I decided to circle back to him. I just wasn't impressed or interested in the other people I had matched with, so I decided to really put myself out there and ask him out. The rest is history. We celebrate our 1 year of marriage today. It's true, and you know, you know.
Sometimes you gotta just reach back out too. Like,
That's, yeah.
I.e. Brittany.
I.e. me. Okay. Match with a guy that I had run into at a bar that I frequented, so I knew him pretty well. We were both in relationships prior to, so the timing finally aligned and I agreed to go out with him. He picked me up with an idea to pick up dinner and a movie back when Blockbuster existed. We went to Blockbuster first and picked out a movie. I have no idea what we ended up picking. What I do remember is getting to the register and him having like $150 in late fees. Was like, rental movies like $2. How do you rack up that many fees? So he paid the fees and we went to pick up pizza. On the way, he tells me, "Hey, since I paid so much for the movie, do you mind getting the pizza?"
As if the one movie was 150.
And the
Oh
movie
my
is
God.
$2. I picked up the tab and we headed back to his house in the middle of nowhere. It was a shack, but like just the framing for a shack without a roof. He didn't have a bathroom even, just a roll of toilet paper.
And he was going to watch a rental movie at his shack without a roof? Stop. Oh my
I started to
God.
feel uncomfortable, so I texted my best friend and he called to make up the most elaborate lie. The guy offered to drive me home if I paid for his gas for cutting the date short. Needless to
Honestly,
say.
sounds like someone my sister would date.
Date.
Oh my God, that is so funny. That's crazy. I wonder what dating app was like when Blockbuster was still a thing.
She said she met him in person. It's just like a bad dating story.
Oh.
Oh, but she said matched with a guy. Maybe just matched.
You're right. She did.
That is so.
What was that?
Sorry, the fact that there
eHarmony.
was no roof. eHarmony, yeah. Since the movie was so expensive.
And the fact that he planned a date to bring her back to this shack without a roof to watch a movie. Did he have a TV at least and a DVD player?
I do not
The
understand
priorities.
how that happened.
He apparently watches a lot of movies, so he probably does.
My sister's boyfriend drives this car that, like, I feel like maybe he was crashed into on the passenger side or something, and the door is, like, fucked up and, like, almost, like, open
Oh, love
on
that.
the side, and he can't afford to fix it, and my sister rides in that seat.
Does she have to
when she
crawl
dresses
from
him.
the driver's seat to get
Yeah.
in, or is it like...
Yeah.
That's not safe.
No.
She maybe should sit in the back seat.
She maybe shouldn't ride with him in the car.
She maybe shouldn't date him.
No, I know. There's one
Wait,
last one that I wanted to read. It's short.
Okay.
First date after talking for a bit, and I made a Lexapro joke, to which he said, "I don't like that." Later, he went on to say people who are depressed should sit down with someone who has real problems to understand theirs aren't important.
Oh.
I felt real overwhelmed and cried. I would too. Then he told me it was my fault. I took his comment too seriously. Literally gaslighting you.
Bye.
Yuck. I hate people like that.
That is crazy. I wonder how his life is, like if he probably has trauma. Like he's probably
Or
experienced it
he's
himself.
a narcissist, or he's...
Did you listen to the Armchair Expert on narcissism? That was very
Yeah, it
interesting.
made me realize that there are a lot more narcissists than we realize. Also,
Yeah.
Dax said, it's annoying when they like say things like this, but Dax was like, I dated a narcissist.
I know.
And she was super important and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, who the fuck? Are you talking about Kate Hudson? Like, who? It's so annoying because I'm like, okay, now we all want to know. And also, did you hear Monica say that one of the guests got her phone number, but then never texted her? And so
I
I'm
wanted
like,
to know that
who the
so
fuck?
bad.
And Dax was like, well, he has everything going for him right now. And, you know, he's got a lot of options.
I thought
Is
it
Jake
was,
Gyllenhaal?
No, I thought it was Lil Dicky on, and they were kind of like vibing, or somebody like that.
Ew. Who is? I don't even know who that is. Is he?
He's cute.
Oh, then maybe it was that.
I'm
His name's
interested to
like Dave
see
or something.
all of Dax's, who all it could be.
I know.
He dated what's her name? One of the twins.
Ashley Olsen.
Yeah.
Tara
Kate
Lipinski.
Hudson. Oh, who's that?
I don't know who that is.
Former competitive figure skater, who's best known for winning the gold medal. at
Dax
the
dated her?
1998.
That's crazy.
But it's confirmed they were in a relationship.
I wondered too, like when he was in the 9-year open relationship, like how many, like did he have other relationships or just like hooking up with other people?
I think just hooking up, but who knows?
Interesting. Wow. Well, thank you guys so much for submitting these stories.
We're gonna
That
have to
was
share some of the other
incredible.
ones in the future because these are really good and funny.
Yeah, we should do a
You
part
guys
2.
killed it. I don't even know if everybody who submitted are going to listen to this episode.
I'm sorry that you've experienced such things, but it's crazy. It's also like cool to see. There's a lot of responses that we got that were just like, it worked out for me. I met my husband that way, like short ones.
Yeah.
So that is
The
hopeful,
nice ones
maybe a
aren't
little.
always as fun.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny.
exciting.
Like that one was like, oh, it was like a weird whatever situation. Then they circled back and now they're married. Like,
Yeah.
it is about, I think timing is so important with all of it.
Also, a lot of times, like for me on Hinge, I'll match with someone and then like maybe say hi, whatever. And then I won't say anything back for a while. And then it's like, oh, it's too late. Like he'll be annoyed if I message or whatever. But that's a sign that you should. If you're thinking about him still or her, then
Are you telling
should.
yourself that?
No, but I'm just saying I've had those moments where it's like, oh, I didn't reply. It took me too long to respond or whatever, you know?
Yeah, no, you probably should, because like they might have been talking to somebody else, but things end quickly, I feel like, when you're just online dating.
Yeah.
Wow.
I agree.
I don't know.
Amazing.
Right now, I feel like online dating is my only hope to actually meet someone. But it's obviously really discouraging having to swipe through so many people. And also it's so hard, like seeing someone in your present, like their presence, their vibe completely changes
It's so
your
different.
attraction to
Yeah.
them or whatever. And so that means you have to like meet up with a lot of people,
Yeah.
but it's hard.
But then you can learn more of what you want. That's a great idea of maybe like, what if you just made the rule of yourself? Like, I'm just going to swipe 5 times. Like, even though that's not an actual thing. But
Yeah.
probably they'll be shitty, but then you'll...
Maybe I should like try pay. Maybe I should do like an experiment where I pay for Hinge or Bumble and see like if it makes a difference or something.
Yeah.
You should. That'd be a good video series, too.
Then maybe they'll pay me.
Yeah.
in
Be like, I'm paying you, bitch.
Yeah.
Pay me back.
Pay me.
Bumble like was a really good target, but now I'm like not sure with all of their shit they have going on.
I know.
They're struggling. Their budget is cut.
I see a lot more Hinge ads.
I do. I see a lot of Hinge ads recently too. I think it could be good.
Does Raya even, like, advertise?
No.
I doubt it.
But
'cause
you
they're,
should
like,
try
very
Raya,
exclusive.
Dev, like, because I think you only need like referrals to get in.
Yeah,
They, like,
honestly, it's,
opened
like,
it up to
not
all
the
people.
same at all now. It's, like,
Oh, they
it's,
opened
like,
it up to a
not
lot of
even
people.
for celebrities.
They did open it up to more people, yeah. I think you still have to be
makes
like
it kinda less
something. Like
cool.
you have to be like, you know,
An influencer.
influencer, established,
Yeah.
like educated. I don't know.
I think my friend Valerie is on it, and she just got a referral. I don't know if that actually happened, though. Or she
Yeah.
just said she was
Well,
going
no, there's like a lot of people that are just like getting on it right now because like they've opened it up to more people. So I have 2 friends that just got on it as well.
Because I think celebrities were also having, like, a hard time with it, of, like, people still fangirling and stuff, where it didn't solve the problem
Yeah.
of its original creation.
It could be good because I could find people that are like me, you know, like creators in my area or something, or like, you know, like creative, whether
Yeah,
they're
creative
authors
people.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that
Find me a referral link.
Huh?
Find me a referral link.
I don't know.
If your friends were just on it, then does everyone get a referral link once they join?
I honestly don't know. I didn't ask about that process. I'll ask.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for listening. We're going to continue talking on our Patreon. We have an extra bonus episode every single week where we keep recording after the regular episode stops. So make sure you go check that out at patreon.com/sogladwerefriends. We also have our May Q&A that came out. We do monthly Q&As for member-only questions, and we answer every single question. So if we don't normally get to your question, that's a good way to do it. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok, subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave us a rate or review wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.